Yesterday we heard the Ispambano Centre for Biblical Justice say that first Christmas story was anything but good news to the powerful, well-fed and respectable. It was the shout of liberation for the oppressed, comfort for the mourning and inclusion for the shamed and outcast. And we see that King Herod realized this right from the start when we see his response to the news of Jesus. So reading from Matthew 2 verses 1 to 12 it says, After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw the star when it rose and have come to worship him. When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. When he had called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Messiah was to be born. In Bethlehem in Judea, they replied, for this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judea, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah, for out of you will come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel. Then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, Go and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me, so that I too may go and worship him. After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen when it rose went ahead of them, until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another route. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Herod is not happy. It's amazing to see a king feeling threatened by a literal baby. And he does everything in his power not to let this become a risk to his power. And so when Herod realizes that he has been outwitted by the Magi, he was furious and gave orders to kill all the boys in Bethlehem and its vicinity who were 2 years old and under, which was kind of the time that they had learned about the Messiah's birth from the wise men. But Jesus wasn't harmed because an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, and he told him to escape to Egypt while Herod was conducting the search, and they stayed there right until Herod's death. I mean, we can learn about leadership from Herod. Actually, we can learn a lot of what leadership shouldn't be from him. When we look at Jesus and Herod, they were so different. One was looking out for others, and the other was looking out for themselves. And yet it's clear to see which one was secure in themselves and confident in their authority at the end of the day. Because we need leaders, and I hope that many of you will be in leadership in your lifetime. But we need honorable leaders, those with integrity and who are not holding that position purely for their own gain, but who are holding it for the growth of all of those around them too. And if we do lead like that, fighting against corruption and being selfless rather than selfish, if we lead in a godly manner, we won't have anything to fear. I mean, you know that when Jesus comes, you don't have to panic and try and get around him or get rid of him like Herod did. Because Herod knew that he was not behaving in a godly way, in an honorable way. And so let us not live in such a perpetual state of fear that we might be found out and get to the point where we're so terrified of a baby that we're willing to wipe out the population of them. Even worse, just like, how could we do that? Rather, let's lead with integrity, making sure that there is nothing to hide, nothing to worry about being found out. In fact, we shouldn't just be leading like that. We should be living like that every day of our lives. And how wonderful to know that when you are backed by God, that he supports you because you are leading and living in a way which enlarges his territory and brings his kingdom here on earth. Amen.